Jai Shri Krishna everyone, and welcome to Swasti Vaatika, the Garden of Wellness. In today's video, I will be reading some divine stories of Bhagwan Krishna. I hope that this reading will be very soothing and relaxing for you all. The comic that I will be reading from is the Amar Chitra Katha, Tales of Krishna. Specifically, we will be looking at the story of Sri Krishna and Rukmini. So, let's begin. Rukmini, the son of King Bhishmaka of Vidarbha, came home from Mathura, bursting with news. As the members of the royal household surrounded him, Krishna, the cowherd from Vrindavan, has slain Kamsa. It appears that Krishna is really the eighth son of Vasudeva and Devaki, Kamsa's cousin. He and his elder brother Balarama were secreted away to Gokul as soon as they were born and were brought up among the cowherds. And this woman right here is thinking, so in spite of all of Kamsa's efforts, the prophecy has come true. Is Krishna really a divinity? Rukmini's sister, Rukmini, was a forthright girl. Then he is no cowherd, but a noble Yadava. Rukmini, he has murdered my friend, and you call him noble. You will never admit that Kamsa was an evil king. The Yadavas of Mathura had never been happy under his rule. Besides, don't forget he deposed his own father and usurped the throne. I suppose Krishna will now become the king. No, he refused the crown. He insisted that Ugrasena be reinstated. He refused the crown? Yes, but King Ugrasena and the nobles have requested, nay, insisted, that he remain in Mathura, and who wouldn't? Did he agree? Rukmini ignored her and continued to speak to Bhishmaka. He has agreed to stay for a while to learn the scriptures and the princely arts. What about Jarasandha? How did he react? Jarasandha, Kamsa's father-in-law, was the emperor of Magadha, the most powerful kingdom of those days. Mathura, like Vidarbha and most other kingdoms, owed allegiance to him. The emperor is furious. Both his daughters have been widowed in one stroke. He vows to take revenge. He has sent for me. I must go and see about the chariots. Rukmini followed him. And she's thinking here, I must know more about Krishna. Bhishmaka and his wife were alone. The boy seems to be virtuous. I cannot think of a more suitable husband for Rukmini. The same thought occurred to me. He refused the crown of Mathura. How it must have pleased poor old Ugrasena. And matters stood there. Meanwhile, with the help of Rukmi and other allies, Jarasandha made several attempts to avenge the death of his son-in-law, but in vain. After the 18th attempt, the vile Yadava and his brother have dodged us again. We will have to bide our time. Let my friends return to their capitals for the present. At Dwarika, Krishna's inaccessible island city, our spies say that Jarasandha has decided to lie low for a while. Balarama looked at Krishna with a merry twinkle in his eye. Now you'll have all the leisure to dream of the beautiful princess of Vidarbha, the most sought-after princess on earth. Ah, Balarama, my mind is set on marrying her. But her father is a vassal of Jarasandha, and her brother Rukmi his staunch ally. But it is rumored that Bhishmaka and his wife secretly hope that you will win Rukmini. Meanwhile, at Vidarbha, in the garden of Bhishmaka's palace, Rukmini too was lost in dreams of the Yadava hero who had won her heart. Even the mighty emperor, with all of his allies, has not been able to vanquish him. He, and only he, shall be my lord. Suddenly, she heard voices, and here she's thinking, my father, Rukmi, they're coming this way. They were discussing her marriage. Your mother and I have decided to give her to Krishna. And Rukmini is thinking, how fortunate am I? Now Rukmini is speaking again. How could you, father? Don't forget, he murdered my dear friend, the emperor's son-in-law. Surely, we cannot afford to displease the mighty emperor. And Rukmini is back here again in the garden, and she's thinking, please Rukmi, don't make him change his mind. Bhishmaka was silent for a while, then, but we cannot think of a more suitable husband for her. After all, Jarasandha has not been able to avenge Kamsa's death. But he certainly will. It is only a matter of time. Then whom do you suggest? The emperor's favorite and my friend Shishupal, the crown prince of Chedi. He is enamored of Rukmini. And here you can see Rukmini is very shocked hearing her brother say this. And she's thinking, that jackal, never. I shall never marry him. "O Rukmi, how could you sell your own sister to win the emperor's favor?" "Don't agree, father. Please don't agree." But Bhishmaka invariably permitted his eldest son to make all major decisions, even if they did not coincide with his own wishes. He heaved a sigh. "All right, Rukmi, do as you will. Then I shall send a formal proposal to Chetty and invite Shishupal to come and marry Rukmini." They walked away, little knowing that Rukmini had overheard every word of their conversation. And she's thinking, so they don't even plan to hold a Swayamvar. To whom shall I speak? What shall I do? Suddenly, an idea occurred to her. Why not? Why shouldn't I? After all, my parents are for it. She went into the palace and sent for Sunanda, a Brahman whom she trusted and who was devoted to her. When he came, "Why do you look so pale, my little one? What's the matter?" She told him about the conversation she had overheard. Then, "O venerable one, would it be wrong on my part to send a secret message to the Yadava hero?" "No, little one, never. It would be wrong to marry Shishupal when your heart is set on another, and your parents have in their hearts approved." "But with whom can I entrust such a message?" "I will go to Dwarka, Rukmini. I shall carry the message for you." Rukmini wrote out the message and gave it to the Brahman, telling him what her plans were. "And be sure to tell him that I would not want my kith and kin to be killed on my account. Do not worry, Rukmini. I will not forget." With great difficulty, Sunanda reached Dwarka, where he was given a warm welcome. After he was rested and refreshed, Krishna speaks to him. "O venerable one, if it would not mean betraying any confidence, tell us why you have come to our inaccessible city." "I have come with a message from Rukmini, the princess of Vidarbha." And Krishna's thinking, Rukmini, my own Rukmini. Sunanda told Krishna about the conversation that Rukmini had overheard, and then he gave Krishna Rukmini's message. "I have chosen you as my husband. Come to Vidarbha, vanquish the armies of Jarasandha and Shishupal, and claim me." When Krishna finished reading the message, "If you do not come and take her away, she has decided to give up her life." She mentions that in the message, but little does she realize that I too have set my heart on winning her. Yes, I have, but I know that Rukmi does not want to give her to me. Sunanda's face fell. Does that mean that you will not? No, it does not. Now that she has revealed her heart to me, I shall make her mine. I shall not hesitate to root all the kings who stand in my way. Overjoyed, Sunanda unfolded the rest of Rukmini's plans. Then, the gentle one is anxious that there should be no family bloodshed on her account. It is but natural for her, a veritable goddess, to feel that way. And he says that because Rukmini is believed to be the goddess Lakshmi, reborn on earth. Krishna sent for his charioteer. When he came, get my chariot ready at once, Daruka, and tell Balarama that I shall be leaving for Vidarbha immediately. Meanwhile, Rukmini's formal proposal and invitation had reached Shishupal. He was jubilant. Rukmini says that there is not going to be any Swayamvar. All I have to do is go to Vidarbha and marry Rukmini. The emperor must hear the good news. But Jarasandha was not as confident. It is not as easy as you think. I do not trust that vile cowherd. He is sure to hear of the news and snatch the bride away. We will have to be prepared. Jarasandha sent for all his vassals and allies. I am bent on securing the princess of Vidarbha for Shishupal. You must be ready to confront the cowherd if he comes there and tries to take away the bride. Meanwhile, as soon as Krishna had left Vaatika, one of Balarama's spies came to him. Lord, the emperor has informed all his allies to march to Vidarbha. He expects trouble from us. And Krishna has gone all alone? Get my chariot ready. Rally our armies, elephants, horses, chariots, all. At Vidarbha, Rukmini's anxiety increased with each passing moment. The hour is drawing nearer. Why has my lord not come yet? Did my message disgust him? If so, why hasn't Sunanda returned? As she looked out of the window for the 100th time, she saw Sunanda enter the palace. He looks cheerful. His gait is confident. He must bring good news. His mission has been successful. She turned to her maids. You may go to your rooms. I wish to be alone. When they left, she ran to the door of the room and stood waiting for the Brahman. He has come, little one. Everything is to go according to plan. His brother too has come with the Yadava forces. The news of Krishna's arrival reached Bhishmaka too. Krishna has arrived. He has come to witness the wedding of the princess. And Bhishmaka is thinking, dare I hope that he has come to carry Rukmini away? Dare I? Have a mansion ready for him. Furnish it with every luxury. I shall ride out to receive him. At the gates of the city, Balarama and their forces too have come. He means to take Rukmini away by force, for sure. Welcome, O princes. We are happy to see you here. Come, let me lead you to the palace where you will stay. As they rode into the city, they passed the shrine of goddess Parvati, the family deity of the royal household. Ah, that is the temple that Rukmini wrote about. How anxious my dear one must be. Balarama was concerned about the other things. He turned to Bhishmaka. The emperor and his men have flooded the city. Shishupal is the emperor's favorite, and the emperor has many allies. This should help you plan your strategy, Bhishmaka is thinking. Meanwhile, at the palace, Rukmini, your chariot has arrived. Are you ready? I am. Let us leave. Accompanied by her maids, Rukmini left for the shrine. When they reached the gates of the temple courtyard, she stepped out of her chariot. I do not see Krishna among them. They say he is dark, wears a yellow robe, and sports a peacock feather in his crown. As she walked to the temple, a myriad of eyes followed her every movement, drinking in her beauty. And here there are some that are thinking, alas, she can never be mine. And this man over here is saying, Shishupal is lucky. She is the very goddess of wealth incarnate. Inside the temple, I worship thee, O faithful consort of Shiva. I bow to thee, thy Lord, and thy two sons, Ganesha and Kartikeya. She washed the goddess's feet and placed offerings before her. Then, overcome by the thought that filled her being, she pleaded with the goddess. O goddess, please let Krishna and only Krishna win and wed me. Her worship over, she came out of the temple, and she's thinking, O goddess, do not fail me. As she walked towards the gate, her eyes anxiously scanned the assembly of kings, and she's thinking, I do not see him anywhere. Heavy was her heart, and slow her gait. The chariot loomed before her all too soon, and she's thinking, will Krishna ever become mine? And you can see in that instant he's grabbing her arm, and he says, Rukmini, it's me, your Krishna. And the next moment, she was seated next to him in his chariot. And you can see her brother and his friends, or the allies of the king, the emperor, are trying to stop her and Krishna from leaving. They're saying, stop him, Rukmini, wait. But Krishna's chariot sped away, blowing dust into the eyes of the bemused kings. Jarasandha was furious. Where is your Kshatriya valor? Why do you stand there, as if you've lost your senses? Pursue them. Jerked into action, the kings charged forward. Balarama turned to Krishna. They're giving chase. You ride on. We'll fall back and deal with them. When Rukmini looked up in terror at Krishna, he laughed heartily and allayed her fears. Don't be alarmed. Our armies will soon rout the enemy. Balarama will not lose his dear sister-in-law so easily. He was right. Here Balarama is shouting, "Chase the jackals away, my men. Shoot their horses. Destroy their chariots." While Balarama was busy tackling Jarasandha, Shishupal and their hordes, Rukmini charged ahead after Krishna's vanishing chariot. "I will not re-enter the capital without Rukmini." Balarama did not try to stop him. Krishna can deal with him, even with Rukmini in his chariot. Balarama's onslaught was fierce. "Let us retreat, Shishupal. There is no hope left. The cowherds are determined. Rukmini is lost to you." "Alas, I feel as if my wedded wife has been abducted. So sure was I that she was mine alone." Jarasandha tried to console him. "Don't grieve, Shishupal. Fortune favored them, and they won. We shall certainly defeat them when our luck turns." Full of hatred for the man who had worsted them, the disappointed suitor and his well-wishers returned to their capitals. Meanwhile, Rukmini had almost caught up with Krishna. "Today I shall humble the pride of that cowherd who dared abduct my sister." Faster, faster, faster. Soon his chariot was but a few feet away from Krishna. "Stop, stop, wait you. Disgrace to the race of Yadu. How dare you kidnap my sister? Even as a crow steals a sacred offering. You wily rascal, you have proved your cunning. Now prove your valor." Rukmini's arrow did not even make a dent in Krishna's armor. Krishna pulled out an arrow and lifted his bow. He first killed Rukmini's horses and then shattered his chariot, which you can see right here. Rukmini took cover behind the debris and lifted his bow, only to have it broken to bits. Mad with rage, Rukmini picked up his sword and rushed towards Krishna. The next moment, however, found him holding but the hilt. As he threw it away in disgust, Krishna picked up his sword and was about to rush toward him when Rukmini says, "O virtuous Lord, please spare my brother. Please don't kill him." "Arise, Rukmini," Krishna says. "For your sake, Rukmini shall live." He went up to Rukmini and bound him with his own prapata. "I shall shave off half his hair and half his mustache with the blade of my sword. There could be no greater punishment for a warrior." And you can see him cutting off Rukmini's hair and half his mustache in this picture. Balarama was horrified. "Krishna, what are you doing?" "Krishna, you have performed an impious act, an act detested by our race. To do what you have done to a relative is worse than killing him." Then he turned to Rukmini. "Please do not take offense, dear sister. Your brother unfortunately has reaped the fruits of his own actions. You are free to go, Rukmini." Alas, he has only added insult to injury. It were better that they had killed me. As the humiliated Rukmini slowly walked away, he's thinking, but where shall I go? Bound by my own vow, I cannot return to my capital. I will have to build a new city for myself. Come into the chariot, Rukmini, Krishna says. We must hurry to Vaatika and have our wedding solemnized by rituals. A few days later, at Vaatika, Krishna was married to Rukmini with great pomp and ceremony. We hope that you enjoyed this reading of the Tales of Krishna comic book. If you did enjoy it, we'd appreciate if you could like this video and leave a comment about your favorite part. With that being said, if you'd like to see more videos such as this one, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching, and Jai Shri Krishna.